In today's video, we will be talking about some fragrances that I think are perfect for dates. If you're interested, then just keep watching. Hi, my name is Ayesha from simplyayesha.com. Here on YouTube, I make videos about fragrance, beauty, luxury, and lifestyle. If those are things you're interested in, please subscribe. And if you are a returning subscriber, hey y'all, welcome back to my channel. So as I said, in today's video, we'll be talking about some fragrances that I think are perfect for dates. And I wanted to leave that term very broad. Valentine's Day is upon us. And of course, that is the inspiration behind this video. However, I feel like this video should be evergreen, okay? Because we're always going on dates, right? Any time of the year. It doesn't have to be Valentine's Day. And also with this selection of fragrances, I tried to pick fragrances that I thought would work for a variety of occasions. So day dates, night dates, solo dates, dates out with your girlfriends, dates out with your man, whatever. I feel like all of these will work when you want to smell alluring for whatever reason that may be. And honestly, like if I take myself out on a date, I don't do it that often, but sometimes I do. And I do find joy in that. When I take myself out on a date, I put on a fragrance like I'm going on a date with my husband. Like that's, that's the vibe I'm usually trying to go for. So we have 10 fragrances that we will get into, and I have one honorable mention. I think I'm going to save that one for the end because I don't want y'all to immediately click out when I talk about my honorable mention. But without further ado, let's go ahead and get into these fragrances. So these are in no particular order, but the first one that I have here is from Gourmand, and this is called Oud Nude. So Oud Nude is a fragrance that I absolutely love. This fragrance is an oud fragrance, as the name would imply, and the oud is present. Like you can smell that kind of, I always feel like when I smell oud, it can go a couple different ways. Some ways it smells almost like a leathery, slightly smoky woodiness. Other times it smells animalic, okay? And when I say animalic, I mean like bodily. Bodily. I have smelled an oud before that I felt like smelled like fecal matter, and those are not the kind of ouds that I like, okay? So this particular oud in here is present, and it does smell slightly animalic, but animalic in the way that a warm like skin musk would smell. So like I said, you have the oud in here. This fragrance smells musky and almost skin-like. There is a raspberry note in this fragrance as well that gives it a slight bit of sweetness, but also a slight bit of tartness. But don't think of this as a raspberry fragrance. I really think that raspberry just adds some dimension into this fragrance. But overall, if I were to smell this and not know any notes, I would think it's a musky oud with something bright kind of like intermingling in there. Like you can't really, like I can smell the raspberry, but I feel like sometimes raspberry can really take over a fragrance, and that is not the case with this. This is so beautiful. It is done in a very soft manner, although it's not like a skin scent per se, but it feels very soft. Like when you smell it, it feels very round, very full, very elegant, and very refined. I could definitely picture a man or a woman wearing this, but I only know women that wear this. So if you are a man who has worn this, let us know what you think about it. Or if you're a woman watching this and you smell this on a man, let us know how that smells on him. I might have my husband wear this one day because I just love this fragrance. And no, I'm not gonna let him wear it. I don't need him smelling like me, okay? I like to keep my own fragrances, but this is gorgeous. And I feel like it is perfectly unisex. And as far as dates go, I feel like this would work for a variety of dates. So I feel like this is probably one of the most versatile scents in this bunch because I think it works year round. I think that even in the heat, this would work if you live in a hot climate. And I definitely think this is sexy enough to wear on a date night, but also calm enough to wear during the day. And I personally have even worn this to the gym before. I've worn it to bed, and it just works all the time. Like it just smells beautiful every single time I wear it. It has never annoyed me at all. So love this fragrance. Would highly recommend getting your nose on it. Again, that is Oud Nude from Gourmand. This next fragrance is from Chris Collins, and this is Lust Oud de Lis. Now I'm filming at night, so hopefully you're not getting too much of a glare, but I'll show y'all a close up as well. But anyway, this fragrance is absolutely stunning. I feel like I've talked about this fragrance so much, but y'all, it's everything. Okay, so this to me is a nutty sweet leaning, chocolatey, woody scent. So again, you have oud in here, and the oud in this fragrance is kind of combined with a chocolate or cacao note that's giving it a little bit of sweetness, but it's also giving it a certain softness in my opinion. And then there is a walnut note in this fragrance that gives it nuttiness, but it's a very unique nuttiness in my opinion. This is absolutely stunning. It's one that whenever I smell it, I just feel like I want to wear it. It is a sexy fragrance to me. It leans gourmand, but it doesn't go full on gourmand. And I definitely see why they named this fragrance Lust, because to me, this smells like, I don't know, like I need to be somebody's dessert tonight. Yeah, it's delicious smelling, but in that grown and sexy type of way. So I would recommend this one for a date night, especially with your special someone. This is not one that I typically go for during the day, because to me it just smells like nighttime, and so I reserve it for that. But I think if you live somewhere where it's cold, you could probably get away with this during the day, but to me it's just very sultry smelling. So for me, I would save this for night. I have worn it for like an in-the-house date night. It's not so strong that it's super overpowering. However, I will say this projects really well and it lasts really well. But if you're easy on the trigger, like if you're just doing like an in-home date night and you don't want to be doing the most, I think this will still work perfectly well. So again, that is Lust by Chris Collins. This next fragrance is from the House of Oud, and this is Guilty Crush. So this is one of those fragrances that when I smell it, I think of it as a pretty girl fragrance. So to me, this smells fruity at the top. I think maybe strawberry or raspberry. I think it's strawberry that's at the top of this fragrance. That's what it smells like. So it's giving you that juicy, like sweet berry scent, but not too sweet. I don't find strawberry to be an extremely sweet fruit. And fun fact, when I was a kid, when I would eat strawberries, I always wanted to put sugar on them because they were not sweet enough. That's horrible. But anyway, I don't think of strawberry as a super sweet fruit. And I feel like that's reflected in the smell. So in addition to the strawberry at the top, it smells like waxy, but in that cosmetic, like lipsticky type of way. There's a little bit of that. I believe there's a champagne note in this fragrance. I could be wrong, but there's definitely some sort of sparkling nature to this fragrance that reminds me of like a champagne or Prosecco, that crisp, like sparkliness. That definitely comes through in this fragrance. And overall, the vibe that I get from this fragrance is just like very feminine, very girly. I'm wearing pink. I have on pink lipstick, and I'm just here being demure and mindful, you know, like, so for me, this is the type of fragrance that I would love to wear on a day date when I want to smell flirty and feminine, day date vibes all the way. I would definitely wear this out with my girls as well, like to a brunch. So if you're doing Galentine's, I feel like this would be a good option for that as well. And although it's feminine and sweet and pretty, I feel like it's unique as well. So a lot of times I find that if I go out, especially with a big group of ladies, I tend to go for something that's crowd pleasing but still unique, because I like the crowd pleasing because you never know, you know, I don't want to offend anybody with my fragrance. And especially not if we're eating, okay? So I don't usually, if I am going to like a brunch or something like that with friends, I'm usually not wearing anything super strong. But also, I don't know, when I'm doing that type of thing, I like to smell feminine. I don't usually go for my more masculine scents in that setting. And I feel like this is the type of fragrance that is unique, but also crowd pleasing, and you're probably not going to smell it on anybody else. So again, that is Guilty Crush from the House of Oud. The next fragrance I have is from Montale, and this is Chocolate Greedy. I mean, can we have a Valentine's inspired video without a chocolate fragrance? I mean, I feel like I had to. So this always makes me like cough or sneeze. But this is obviously a chocolate fragrance, and the chocolate in this smells delicious. It's giving milk chocolate, so it's giving sweet, creamy. But in addition to chocolate, you also have like dried fruits. I feel like I can pick up on some sort of orange, but it doesn't go like orange chocolate, because I found that sometimes those orange chocolate scents can smell kind of sickening. But this one, I feel like there's dried fruits that kind of lean in the orange fruit direction, but definitely other stuff to balance it out. But mainly just a beautiful chocolate. And it's a little bit powdery, and although it's a more edible scent, I don't find that it smells juvenile at all. I feel perfectly comfortable wearing this out. and about. However, I also like to wear this at home. So for a in-home date night, I think this is perfect. I have used it quite often for that. I also feel like you could wear this on a date night out, especially if you're going somewhere more intimate, more dark. I don't think this is the type of fragrance that I would wear if I'm really trying to stand out and wear something bold. But if you're looking for a softer, intimate scent, I feel like this would work. And this fragrance isn't soft by any means, but I'm just saying, like, it smells like it's made for a more intimate encounter. So again, that is Chocolate Greedy from Montale. So this next fragrance is from Amouage, and this is called Love Delight. So this fragrance, I actually have a full review on. So if you would like to know more details about this fragrance, including like longevity and all that, definitely check out my video. I'll link it for you all. But in short, this fragrance is a floral fragrance. The florals in here smell kind of mixed to me. Like, I definitely can pick up on a white floral, I believe jasmine, that's what it smells like to me anyway. But it kind of smells like a mix of florals. There's a slight bit of greenness in it. There's a bit of a ginger zinginess to this fragrance. And I feel like underneath all that, you may have something like almond or even apricot, giving it like a little bit of sweetness, nuttiness that makes it more of a gourmand floral. It's a very pretty girl scent in my opinion. So I felt like this would be great for a day date, especially if you're doing something outdoors, like maybe a picnic, or you're just sitting outside for a nice lunch. I feel like this would be perfect, especially if you're into very feminine scents. I feel like this smells alluring and smells like sensual without being like overtly so, but it is kind of one of those fragrances that I feel like would draw people closer, honestly. It's not a heavy beast mode fragrance. So even though it's in this Amouage bottle, it is not your typical Amouage scent. And when you watch my review, you'll learn more about that. But it's a beautiful scent nonetheless, and I could definitely see myself wearing this out during the day if I want to smell alluring and sensual. So again, that is Love Delight by Amouage. This next fragrance is from Addictive, and this is Cupid's Kiss. So again, the name is one of the reasons that I picked this fragrance out for this video. And I kind of forgot to mention this earlier, but I do date night fragrances quite often. So I really wanted to, for this video, I really wanted to pull some of the fragrances that are not like the usual suspects. So I hope you guys are enjoying that. But anyway, this is Cupid's Kiss. And with a name like that, I mean, it's definitely on the table for Valentine's Day, right? So this is an interesting scent. When I first smell it, I feel like I pick up spice. I believe it's like pink pepper, if I remember correctly. That's what it smells like. Could be wrong, y'all. But I pick up a bit of spice. I pick up like almost like a cosmetic powdery scent in the background. I'm thinking there's some sort of purple floral in this fragrance that's giving it that type of vibe. But then it's also like you have that like kind of soft feminine purple floral powdery lipsticky type thing going on, but then it's mixed with this deep thick woodiness. So this is not a safe blind buy. However, I find it very interesting, and it's so addictive to smell. It's a little bit sweet, but not too much, but it's definitely a little bit sweet, and I feel like that adds to the alluring nature of this. But this is definitely one of those fragrances that you would wear if you are feeling bold. So I would definitely wear this out on a date night. This is the type of fragrance that I tend to love to wear on date nights because it feels bold without being obnoxious, but it also smells like alluring and flirtatious, but like I know what I'm doing, you know, like I'm not here to be your little dainty woman, like I am my own woman. Okay, so yeah, I love scents like that for date night. So yeah, I would definitely picture myself wearing this out on a date, especially if I'm going somewhere where it may be crowded and I want to make sure that I stand out. I think this would work well on those occasions. Now, I personally would not wear this during the day, I don't think. I mean, I've never tried to wear it during the day, to be honest, but when I smell it, it smells sultry, and like I would prefer to have it at date night. But you know, you do you. I just feel like this is more of a nighttime scent for me. And although it is a heavier scent, I don't find it to be overpowering. So again, that is Cupid's Kiss from Addictive. So this next fragrance is from Clive Christian, and this is Blonde Amber. So this fragrance is for the bold. This is definitely a strong, like heavy hitting fragrance. So when I smell this, I get a booziness first and foremost. The booziness smells like maybe a dark, like spicy, but very expensive rum. And then I also feel like I can pick up on either plum or dried fruit that's giving it an additional sweetness. And then there is a lot of spice in this fragrance. I couldn't tell you what type, but there's definitely a lot of prominent spice in this fragrance and amber. So it definitely has that resinous vibe to it as well. So overall, what I get from this is a spicy, slightly sweet amber scent that is very bold. Okay, it's very bold. And if you don't like boozy fragrances, I don't think you would like this. If you don't like amber fragrances, I don't think you would like this. This is one that I find to be really nice and a standout fragrance. And although like when I describe it, I don't feel like it sounds amazing, but when you smell it, it is like boom pow in your face. So this is not one that I will overspray, because I feel like this could do you in if you go too hard on it. But it is beautiful, especially on the skin. On my skin, it really warms up, and it also kind of like rounds out. So not only does it like project and everything, it just rounds out, makes everything more smooth. When I smell it on paper, I find that it smells a bit more like stark, a bit more scratchy, but on the skin, it really just rounds out and smells extremely beautiful. And for me, this would be a date night only type of scent. This is not something I would want to wear during the day. It's very sultry, it's very inviting, but on the skin, I don't find it to be so strong that it's obnoxious that somebody couldn't sit close to you. I just would go easy on the trigger with this particular one. So again, that is Blonde Amber from Clive Christian. This next fragrance is from Initio, and this is Narcotic Delight. This is a fragrance that I absolutely love. And of course, if I love a fragrance, I'm trying to wear it on a date, okay? So this fragrance is a boozy cherry tobacco type scent. And what makes this fragrance special, in my opinion, is the boozy note that is in here is cognac. So cognac has this very rich, like thick, but sweet smell. It smells very layered if you've actually smelled cognac. I don't really drink, I mean, I do, but I don't sip it like that. My husband does though. So it's one of those things that like when he orders a glass of cognac, or he makes a glass of or he pours himself a glass of cognac at home, I need to smell it, okay? Because it smells so good. And that's what really stands out to me in this fragrance. And then you have this cherry note in here, but although the cherry is pretty prominent, it doesn't take over the scent. It doesn't go cough syrupy. It just smells like everything is so well put together that even though you can smell these different components to it, nothing is standing out, taking over anything. Everything is really well balanced. I think there's also tobacco in here as well. But again, it is a sweet, not smoky tobacco, just more like dry, like tobacco leaf. So if you've ever smelled just tobacco like before it's smoked, like in a cigar or something like that, sometimes it has this dry sweetness to it that you can smell, and that's what you get from here. It's not a smoked, not an ashy type tobacco. It is so good, y'all. It is so good. It has enough sweetness to it that I feel like would make women comfortable wearing this. However, it has enough depth to it that I could imagine a man wearing this as well. I feel like this is one of those scents that is absolutely perfectly unisex. So for me, this is date night. However, if I were going somewhere during the day, like I'm doing a nice little fancy lunch, I could definitely see myself wearing this because I don't find it to be super strong and heavy, not overpowering, but if I had my choice, I would wear it at night, especially if I was going somewhere like a lounge, not like a club or anything like that, but like say like a nice lounge or a nice little speakeasy where I'm going to be sitting really close to my husband and he'll be smelling me up close. This is the type of fragrance that I would like to wear for that type of date. So again, that's Narcotic Delight from Initio. Sorry guys, I do not know what's happened to my voice. I don't know what keeps going in and out. I guess because I feel like I haven't filmed in a long time and my voice is just like, shut up, Ayesha. Anyway, we only have a couple more fragrances, so let's go ahead and get through them. The next fragrance is from Fragrance Du Bois, and this is Serene. So this fragrance is another cherry scent, and I feel like cherry is a nice fruit for dates because it gives you that sweet sexiness and sometimes a little bit of tartness depending on how it's done. So this particular one is a cherry fragrance that feels very supple. It feels very full, like the cherry note. So I believe it's sour cherry that's in here, but in addition to cherry, this has some depth to it. So this has an oud note in it, if I remember correctly. It also smells like there's saffron in here that's giving it that spicy but sweet airiness that saffron does. And then it also has some spice in here. Although some of these notes sound really heavy, this is done in a way that feels not so heavy. So even though the notes sound heavy, it kind of smells like it could get too heavy. When you wear it on the skin, I don't find that it gets heavy. Hopefully that makes sense. Like, it's very present, don't get me wrong, but it's not like overpowering, suffocating, or anything like that. I don't think this fragrance will bother anybody, even if you overspray it. This is absolutely stunning. So I feel like this is another one of those fragrances that would be very versatile for dates, because it can work daytime, it can work nighttime. I have worn this mainly at night, to be honest, because I feel like it's so sultry and sexy. But definitely, if I was going somewhere really nice for a lunch date or for a brunch date, I would definitely pick this up. Now, this is not going to be the one that I wear to a picnic, because I feel like it's too special for that. Not that you can't wear a special fragrance to a picnic, but I'm just saying, like, if I'm sitting outside to that level, no. But if I'm going somewhere nice and I'm looking good, I could definitely pull this off day or night very easily. So again, that is Serene from Fragrance Du Bois. This next fragrance is from Amouage, and this is Overture Woman. So this is another Boozy scent that is absolutely stunning. It smells so intoxicating when you smell it. So the booziness is definitely the star of the show in this fragrance. So if you don't like a boozy fragrance, you probably won't like this. But the booziness doesn't smell like straight alcohol. It is warm, it is rich smelling, and there's also an apple note in this fragrance. So to me, whenever I smell this, it makes me think of like apple brandy. Not the Killian fragrance, but like what I would think apple brandy would actually smell like. I don't even know if that's a real thing, y'all, but that's what it smells like to me. In addition to that, I feel like there could be some deeper, like more purple fruits in here. So maybe like plum or something like that could be in here as well. And then there's also this smooth but prominent leather note. So if you do not like leather, I won't say that you won't like this fragrance at all, because I do find that the leather in here is non-animalic. It's there, but it's on the smoother, like easier to tolerate side, in my opinion. So I would say that if you're not a fan of leather and you're interested in this fragrance, maybe get a sample, see how it wears on you, because this is one of those fragrances that I find wears differently on me depending on weather. So I've found that when I've worn this in cooler weather or I've been inside only, I find that on my skin this comes off boozier. However, when I've worn this in warm weather, and I have when I've worn this in warm weather, the leather seems to come out a bit more. So take that as you will. This is a great fragrance, and I highly recommend this fragrance, but I don't think it's necessarily a safe blind buy, especially if you're not a fan of leather. Anyway, it's gorgeous, y'all. This is one that I wore it like a couple weeks ago. I could not stop smelling myself, y'all. I could not. I wore it to a whiskey taste and I felt like this was perfect. So I think this would be great for a date night that is dark and sultry. So perhaps a whiskey tasting or like a jazz club, or even like a very nice dinner. Like a lot of these restaurants could be like very dark and sultry. Those types of restaurants, this fits the bill, okay? I personally wouldn't choose this for a day date just because I feel like it's doing the most. However, you could, you know, if that's your vibe. But for me, this would be more of a date night type scent. So again, that's Amouage Overture Woman. And then the last fragrance that I have here is my honorable mention. And this is from Roja, and this is Lost in Paris. Now, the reason I put this as an honorable mention is because the price. Honestly, I struggle with putting this fragrance in videos because it is so ridiculously expensive. And I don't know, I struggle with mentioning it to y'all, but I do love the fragrance, y'all. I do love it. It is so delicious smelling. So that's why I put it as an honorable mention. So if you already have this, like, this will be a great date fragrance. This is delicious. It smells like Grand Marnier. So an orange liqueur, and then it feels like there's some other like actual like orange fruit in here. Of course you have the booziness because it's orange liqueur, and then in the base of it, it smells like it smells like there's some additional sweetness coming through, like maybe a caramel note, maybe like a lightweight pastry, but a very expensive pastry. It is so good. Every time I smell this, y'all, I cannot stop smelling it. So for me, I would wear this on a date any time of the day, because when I smell this, it smells so addictive. And who doesn't want to smell addictive on a date? Even though this is a more of a gourmand fragrance, it is done in a very elevated, very luxurious, very refined way. So it does not smell childish. It is not a childish gourmand. It is not a straight food gourmand. This is beautifully delicious, y'all. And I feel like it's not so heavy that you couldn't wear it during the day, even if you live in a warmer climate, but you could definitely wear this at night too. So again, this is one of those versatile date fragrances for me, just when I want to smell highly addictive, y'all. That's when I'm going to wear it. When I want to smell highly addictive, when I want him to come closer, when I want him to say, is that you? And nuzzle into my neck more. Like that's the times that I'm wearing this fragrance. It is absolutely stunning. So again, that is Lost in Paris from Roja. So those were the date fragrances that I wanted to share with you all. I hope you guys found this video helpful. I hope you saw some fragrances that I maybe don't talk about all the time, or that you maybe haven't seen in every other video. And let me know if you tried any of these fragrances. What do you think of them? If you have a date coming up, whether that's for Valentine's Day or not, whether you have a Galentine's Day date or a solo date or a at-home date, let us know what fragrance you may be planning to wear soon on your next date. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Please give it a thumbs up. Please subscribe to my channel, and make sure you turn your notification bell on so that you know when I upload a video. Also, make sure you check out my description box. Down there I will have links to all the products that I mentioned, along with any promo codes that I may have. And I'll also have all the ways you can check me out, meaning my website and my social media, Instagram and TikTok for now. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video as much as I enjoyed making it. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in my next one. Bye.